How many of you are tired of jeans that are always too long? Not anymore. You guys asked for this video, and today I'm sharing step by step how to hem your jeans, keeping the original hem. I am a basic sewer, so trust me, if I can do this, you can also do this. So why keep the original hem? Most of the time, you take the excess fabric and you tuck it under and you put a new seam in that jean. And that's fine. That's a fine way to do it, but it doesn't always look the best. So by keeping the original hem on the jean, it looks better, it looks more professional, and you also maintain that authentic distressing of that jean. Most jeans have that kind of already distressed hem that really make it look more professional if you're able to maintain that. This technique generally works best for a straighter leg jean. So if you have something that is super flared or bell-bottomed or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend starting with that. This is generally going to look better and work better on a straighter leg jean. The example that I'm sewing today is actually slightly more tapered than a straight, but it still works, and we'll get into that. So let's talk about what you're going to need. You need a sewing machine that can sew a straight stitch. I think every single sewing machine on the planet can sew a straight stitch. You're going to need straight pins. You're going to need a measuring tape. You're going to need thread, obviously, and I always choose a thread color that blends seamlessly into the jean color. I find that navy blue generally always works best. And then you're also going to need a pair of scissors. All right, let's move into step one. The jeans I'm hemming today, I purchased in the Nordstrom anniversary sale. They're from Cut from the Cloth. Some of you guys may remember these. They came with a rolled hem. So I really wanted to hem these jeans so that they fit me without the rolled hem on it. So the very first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your jeans that you wanna hem, you're gonna try them on, looking in a mirror, you're gonna pin them in place right about where you think you want them to hit on your leg. Once you have that pin in place, go ahead and throw on a pair of shoes, most likely a pair of shoes. And this should be a pair of shoes that you are most likely to wear with them. So the jeans that I'm hemming, these are jeans that I'm most likely gonna wear some type of flat, whether that be a sneaker or a ballet flat or a loafer. It's gonna be a flat shoe. So once you get those shoes on, if you need to adjust where you pinned those jeans, once your shoes are on, go ahead and do that. All right, step two, you're going to take the area that you pinned up, you're gonna measure from the bottom of that edge of that authentic hem to the end of the jeans. You're gonna take this measurement, and in my case, it was around 5 inches. You're gonna take that measurement and you're gonna divide it in half. So I had 5 inches that needed to be hemmed. I'm gonna divide that in half, so 2.5. I'm gonna reposition where I've pinned these jeans at that half point. So I'm readjusting them to 2.5 inches. Once you get those repositioned, you're gonna go ahead and pin again. And the very first thing you wanna do is pin the seams first. You wanna make sure you line up those seams perfectly, and then go ahead and finish pinning the rest of the way around. So let's talk about your machine settings before we get started. You're gonna want to put your machine settings on a straight stitch. You're gonna wanna put your tension around a 3, which is middle of the road for my machine. So if that's different on your machine, you're just gonna wanna keep it right in the middle. And then your stitch width will also be 3 or middle of the road for your machine settings. So now we're ready to get sewing. I highly recommend that you practice on a scrap piece of material. Make sure that your stitch settings are right. Make sure that stitch width and the tension looks how you want it to look. So go ahead and practice, do a few stitches on some scrap material to make sure all of those settings are to your liking. Now right here, I'm gonna go ahead and do an extra step. You do not need to do this step. Typically you would do this at the very end. However, Since I have so much excess fabric because of the amount that I'm hemming, and because my jeans are a slightly narrower than a straight leg, it's not going to give me a lot of room to work with. And I want to make sure any excess material is out of the way so that I don't end up sewing my jeans together, which I have done before. So you want to avoid that. You don't have to do this step, but if you want to go ahead and if you have a lot of excess fabric and you want to get that out of the way, you can go ahead and cut it as you're seeing here. Now, when you start sewing, you want to put that stitch right at the edge of that natural hemline, as I'm showing you here. It's going to be right on the other side of that hem. As soon as you get your first few stitches in, you're going to want to back stitch just a few to make sure you get those stitches secure. Okay, you are going to want to sew slowly. And as you sew every few stitches, you will see me here moving and rotating the jeans every few stitches that I sew. And that is, like I said, because you want to make sure to keep that excess fabric out of your way so that you don't end up stitching your jeans together where you don't want to. So sew slow and keep rotating. You also want to make sure that you sew very slowly over the seams. You don't want to break a needle. That's something that I have also done. So just make sure when you go over the seams, go as slow as you can so that you don't break the needle. Once you are done sewing that first leg, this is where, if you choose to, or if you didn't do it in the prior step, you can go ahead and cut off that excess fabric. And here is how this looks after the first hem. You can't even tell that you hemmed it. It really does look so professional. Most of the time, especially from any sort of distance, nobody's going to even know. So at this point, you can be done and you can stop here. I like to go in and do an extra stitch at the bottom of the jeans on the top. That to me just gives me the comfort of knowing that everything's in place, nothing's gonna move. So I go ahead and do that extra stitch as I'm showing you here. This is also the reason that you want to choose a thread color that blends seamlessly in with your jeans. And like I mentioned, I find that navy, a dark navy, generally works best with most jeans, even different colors of jeans. Once you get done with that second seam, you can also go back and do a zigzag stitch on the inside of that hem, just to keep it from fraying as you wash the jeans. But that is totally optional. You don't need to do it. I don't generally do that. But at this point, you are finished. And here's the final look of both stitches in place. This is such a great technique to use, especially because it's only using basic stitching and really anybody can do it. So here is the reveal and the try on. I went ahead and put these on with a top just so you could see what the final result was. So as I mentioned, I am just a basic sewer. So I encourage you to try this if you have some jeans that you are wanting to shorten just a little bit without having to go to the tailor and pay that expense to have somebody else do it. You really can do it at home and it is super easy. I think these steps really outlined all it really is. The prep work might take actually a little bit longer than the actual sewing, but the prep work is worth it because once you get to the sewing, it is a breeze. So I'm curious if anybody has tried this already. Are you going to try it? Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you're gonna give this a try. I'm also gonna leave a couple of links down below to the sewing machine that I have, which is a basic Brother sewing machine. It's under $200. It's not fancy in any way, but it has everything you need if you're just doing basic sewing. So I'm gonna leave a link to that along with everything else that I used in this video. So I can't wait to hear from you guys. Please let me know if you're gonna give this a try. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It is free, but it really helps my channel. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great week. See you in the next video. Bye.